This is CBS News New York.
Right now, Election Day is finally here and the candidates have made their closing arguments.
We believe in the promise of America. And are we ready to fight for it?
As your president, I will fight for you every single day with every breath in my body.
Now it's up to the voters to decide who will be the next president of the United States.
And the candidates in some local key races. What happens today in the Tri-State area could sway the balance of power in Congress. Good morning on this Tuesday, November 5th, Election Day. I'm Chris Raggi.
And I'm Mary Calvi. Welcome to CBS News New York. You see the countdown clock on your screen as polls in our area will open in just 30 minutes from now. We are bringing you team coverage all morning long on the presidential race as well as the races in New York and New Jersey. But first, we begin with Tony Sadiku and your first alert forecast. Beautiful day out there today, Tony.
Beautiful indeed. Good morning, guys. And even though it's Election Day, it feels more like a September day as numbers will climb about 15 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. So we're losing layers. That's the story today. Warmer layers, record highs on tap for tomorrow. Meanwhile, still bone dry for our area. Warm fronts does its thing, but the rain, that's the part that's been missing. Start you off on the island where a lot of you waking up a lot warmer. Remember, you had frost yesterday. Now it's like in the 50s. Wantagh to Northport right now, 51 degrees. Cross over into the city, it's 55. You've got 50s and 40s as you work your way into western New Jersey. But all in all, I mean, way warmer than we should be for this time of the year, and on tap for a day that's like 15 degrees warmer than yesterday. So a big jump in the numbers, all driven by that southwesterly wind, making a run for the 70s. So for Election Day, nothing's stopping you from getting out to vote as numbers climb. There's a bit of a breeze that you'll feel. It's not record warm. We think the record's out of reach. Today it's 78, but it is within reach tomorrow. Take a closer look at that. Marion track a better rain chance down the road too coming up.
All right, Tony, and check now on your first alert traffic at 5:32. Guy Stanier has the latest for us.
Good morning, Mary. We're going to start in Bedminster, New Jersey. Clean up from an earlier tractor-trailer fire as 2 lanes closed on the westbound side of Route 78 at exit 29. Very slow traffic through the area. This is also now affecting northbound 287 approaching 78. In Queens, roadwork has 2 lanes closed on the southbound Van Wyck between Hillside and Atlantic Avenues. And we have some subway issues in Queens. Riders can expect delays on the E and F trains due to track work in the area. Alternate side parking is suspended for Election Day, but you still have to pay the meters. Chris and Mary, back to you.
Guy, thank you. A sprint to the finish for Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, who made their final pitches to voters late last night.
Elijah Westbrook joins us live here in studio with a look at what they had to say to the millions who are headed out to the polls today.
That's right. Today will determine a lot for obvious reasons. Good morning to the both of you. Election Day is finally here. The race for the White House all comes down to this big day. This as the presidential candidates spent last night rallying and convincing Americans to vote for them. Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris held dueling rallies well into the eve of Election Day across battleground states. Harris focused her Get Out the Vote effort in Pennsylvania with events in Allentown, Reading, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia. It's where she held a star-studded concert and rally.
America is ready for a fresh start, ready for a new way forward where we see our fellow American not as an enemy, but as a neighbor.
Harris also emphasizing her message of hope and unity.
I pledge to listen to experts. I pledge to listen to people who disagree with me. Because you see, I don't believe that people who disagree with me are the enemy. I'll give them a seat at the table. That's what real leaders do.
Trump speaking a different tone last night during a rally in Michigan.
With your vote, we are going to fire Kamala, and we're going to save America. We will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America and back to Michigan. And a lot of it will be using my favorite word, tariff.
Trump also revisited his final campaign stops from 2016 and 2020, stumping through North Carolina and Pennsylvania.
If you vote for Kamala, you will have 4 more years of misery, failure, and disaster. our country may never recover.
As for their running mates, J.D. Vance will visit cities in Wisconsin, Michigan, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. Tim Walz is expected to be in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Big day ahead, and tonight we're told the two candidates and their running mates will hold election night watch parties. Harris is expected to host one at Howard University in Washington, D.C. That's her alma mater. And then Trump's campaign says he'll host one at Mar-a-Lago in West Palm Beach, Florida. Chris Samari.
Elijah, thank you. And in New York, we're now watching a hotly contested House race in the Hudson Valley.
It pits a former Democratic congressman against a Republican incumbent in a key race that could help determine the House majority. Natalie Duddridge live in Tarrytown in Westchester County with more. Natalie?
Good morning, Chris and Mary. Well, immigration has been a top issue in congressional swing districts, and that is certainly the case here in the 17th district, where we are outside of Tarrytown Village Hall. Now, this is where Democrat Mondaire Jones is hoping to unseat Republican Mike Lawler. This district covers all of Rockland and Putnam counties and parts of Westchester and Dutchess counties. In a final push yesterday, both candidates discussed a recent fatal shooting in Somers, New York, where an illegal immigrant, Fernando Jimenez, is charged with killing a teenager and injuring his mother and brother. Here's what the candidates had to say about that.
After his arrest for drunk driving in Yonkers in 2018, he should have been handed over to ICE. Instead, Westchester County's sanctuary status prevents law enforcement from coordinating with federal immigration authorities.
So what happened in Somers is a consequence of the kind of political gamesmanship that we are seeing Mike Lawler engage in every single day that he has served as a member of the United States Congress, and refuse in his 2 years in Congress to do something to secure our southern border.
Now, to give you a sense of the numbers here, 2 years ago in the midterm election, 285,000 people voted in District 17. Meanwhile, this presidential year, more than 204,000 people already voted early. So you can see early voting extremely strong in this district, and political experts say that turnout due to the focus on immigration here. We're live in Tarrytown in Westchester County. Natalie Duddridge, CBS News, New York.
All right, Natalie, thank you. There are also some tight congressional races on Long Island that could tip the balance of power. In the 4th District, which governs southern Nassau County, Republican incumbent Anthony D'Esposito hopes to hold off Democratic challenger Laura Gillen. The pair last faced off in 2022, and D'Esposito won by a margin of about 3%, becoming the first Republican to represent that district. In the 3rd Congressional District, Democrat Tom Suozzi hopes to hold on to his seat that he won by special election back in February to replace George Santos. Former New York State Assemblyman Mike LaPetrie is looking to flip the seat back red. That district covers northern Nassau and parts of Suffolk and Queens counties. And in the 1st Congressional District, which is most of Suffolk, incumbent Republican Nick LaLota facing former CNN anchor and author John Avlon.
5:38, voters today in New York will consider Proposition 1. The proposed constitutional amendment says someone cannot be denied civil rights because of their national origin, age, disability, sexual orientation, gender expression, pregnancy outcome, or reproductive autonomy. Some legal experts say it would ensure access to abortions in the state by making proposed restrictions a civil rights violation. But the amendment itself does not use the word abortion. It's facing some strong opposition. Some Republican groups say it would lead to more transgender athletes playing on girls' sports teams.
All right, today's vote in New Jersey could have some big implications in both the House and Senate. In the House, Democrat Sue Altman facing Republican Congressman Tom Kean Jr.
And Democrat Andy Kim is taking on Republican Curtis Bashaw for the Senate seat formerly held by Bob Menendez. Christina Fan is live in Fort Lee. Christina.
Mary and Chris, good morning. Both of the races you guys mentioned are so crucial and critical because both parties are vulnerable to losing control. The Republicans, the House, and the Democrats, the Senate, and voters in New Jersey seem to feel the weight of this election, which is why a record number have already turned out for early voting. The tightest race in New Jersey is in the 7th Congressional District, where first-term Republican incumbent Tom Kean Jr. is trying to fend off Democratic challenger Sue Altman. The swing district includes Warren, Hunterdon, and portions of Somerset, Sussex, and Union counties. It tends to lean red, but recent polling shows the race is narrowing. Altman is a former teacher and professional basketball player. Her focus is on getting guns off the street and a woman's right to choose. Kane Jr., who is the son of former Governor Kane, is focused on reducing crime and securing the border. New Jersey residents will also be electing a new senator for the first time in 11 years. Representative Andy Kim and businessman Curtis Bashaw are vying for the seat vacated by disgraced Senator Bob Menendez, who resigned after being convicted of bribery and corruption charges earlier this year. We know 1 in 4 registered voters have cast a ballot so far in New Jersey. Polls open in just about 30 minutes at 6 a.m. and will close at 8. Reporting live from Fort Lee, New Jersey, Christina Fan, CBS News, New York.
Christina, thank you. 5:40 right now. There is also a Senate race to watch in Connecticut. Democrat incumbent Chris Murphy hoping to hold on to the seat he's occupied since 2013. Navy veteran and small business owner Matthew Corey is his Republican challenger.
The CBS News live coverage America Decides kicks off today, 4 p.m. right here on CBS News New York and streaming on CBS News 24/7, then on CBS News New York beginning at 5. Our team of reporters will be covering all the local races. At 6:30, you can watch the CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell. At 7 p.m., CBS News' election night coverage America Decides officially kicks off. And, of course, we'll have all the very latest right here on the news at 11.
5:41, warm and sunny out there for you to head out to the voting booth. Here's Tony Sadiqa with your first alert forecast.
Hey, Mary, the all-important Election Day forecast. And I want to start by just comparing last presidential election day. You remember this, the 2020. And temperatures on the cooler side kind of felt more or less like November should. Numbers 53 degrees. There was no rain in the forecast. Now let's fast forward to today's Election Day. And we're about 20 degrees warmer, feeling more like September. It's a partly sunny sky, actually brighter the later we go, so sunglasses, and you're battling a bit of a gusty breeze. So if you go long sleeves this morning for the 40s we've got, remember you're probably back in short sleeves this afternoon. No need for the rain jacket for now. We'll track a better rain chance and check in with those weather watchers in a bit. But right now, 5:41, let's get a traffic update from Guy Stanier. Hey.
Good morning, Tony. We're going to start in Bedminster, New Jersey. Cleanup from an earlier tractor-trailer fire has 2 lanes closed on the westbound side of Route 78 at exit 29. Checking on Long Island's Big 3, all moving well at 542. No delays for the Long Island Expressway, the Northern State, as well as the Southern State. Alternate side parking is suspended for Election Day, but you still have to pay the meters. Chris and Mary, back to you.
Guy, thank you. 5:42 right now. Coming up, struggling to recover years after Hurricane Ida. The break some homeowners are getting on their mortgages and why some say it's still not enough.
And a new study on how weather can impact your health. The main factor is causing asthma flare-ups. Those stories when we come back.